Hello, my name is Aleisha and welcome back to the Nurse RX. If you are a new subscriber, welcome you guys. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. In today's video, I will be discussing something that is very near and dear to my heart. On December 4th, 2023, my husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I'm going to take you back a few years leading up to this point so I can paint a better picture of how this all came to be. Ever since the age of 35, my husband was very regimented on going to his primary care doctor's visits, getting his blood work drawn, checking blood pressures, checking heart, prostate exams, all of it. Very diligent. I will schedule those appointments for him to make sure that, okay, we've got this done out the way so we can, let's do what we need to do so we can move on. March 2020 happens. We all know what happens March 2020. The world shut down. What does that mean? Basically, for a lot of us, everything shut down. We stopped going to the doctors. We stopped going to a lot of different places. So we spent the first year in that time frame just kind of buckled in, not really doing anything, trying to see what was going to happen with, what was going on in the world. 2021 or 2022, I can't remember it. No, I think it all started in 2021, but if I'm mistaken, I will go back and I will ask him again. My husband started having some heart-related issues. To make a long story short, he was diagnosed with blockage in the artery, a 40 to 45% blockage in his artery. That's why he was experiencing some things that was causing him trouble. So now we're in the summer of 2023. And I was like, honey, I noticed that, for the past couple of years, you have not had a follow-up visit with your primary care doctor. So I've been on the hunt to find him a new primary care doctor. Was finally able to locate him a brand new primary care doctor. Finally got in. This doctor's office was extremely difficult to get into because they do not accept new patients. And my husband is extremely particular about the doctor he sees. I totally get it. I'm the same way. So when I finally was able to get in with this doctor, I'm like, book the first appointment. I made the appointment for him, I want to say June, July of 2023. Did the blood work. At this time, they're not doing rectal exams on patients. They're just saying, hey, go get your blood work drawn. We'll check your PSA levels that way. That's how we're basically doing it now. So my husband goes to get his blood work drawn. Blood work comes back. Everything is perfect, except for that PSA. His PSA was elevated. At this time, the primary care doctor then refers him to a urologist. A urologist is where they can dig deeper and perform more tests to see if there is anything going on inside of your body, especially with him at that time related to his prostate, since his prostate levels were high. We get into the urologist's office. The urologist schedules him to have an MRI done of his prostate. Get the paperwork from the urologist's office. On our first time going to get the MRI done, we got all the way down there and we realized we didn't have the script. At this time, it's August 2023. I was like, shoot, that's our fault. That's totally on us. We forgot the script to bring. So while we're in the facility, the imaging facility, to schedule it for next time, they were like, okay, come back in a month, which is now September of 2023. I'm like, a month before you can get in for an appointment for this particular MRI? They were like, yes, we don't have any appointments until another month out. So we're sitting on this for a month. Now, I got the script in hand. We go back down to the imaging center to get the labs drawn. We get down there and the imaging center who we went to the first time says, we don't perform this particular imaging in our center. And we're thinking to ourselves, and we ask them, hey, we were here last time. You knew exactly what we were coming for. Why didn't you just tell us this the first time so we can schedule it with whoever we need to schedule it for? By this time, we're very irritated. Let's just be honest. We're irritated because now we've wasted a whole month. We're the kind of people, especially me, I don't like to sit on stuff. I like to deal with things head on, get it out the way, and just, God, let's just move. Let's move. Let's move this paper trail along. They were like, no, we've never performed it here. I'm not sure where you got the information from that we do. Well, we got it from the urologist's office. So at this point, I'm upset. I'm going to be honest, I'm upset. I called the urologist's office back. I started to speak with the nurse there to explain to her what was going on. And I turned into that person. I did. I was like, I want to speak to your office manager. I need to speak to her to let her know if you're giving this information to people to get done, please don't do that. They don't do this particular imaging at this particular center. I speak with the office manager. She informs me, yes, they do. I'm telling her, no, they don't. Even though I did speak to the people there at the imaging center. So we're doing this back and forth thing. After a while, she's like, okay, let me help you out with this. And I was like, well, let me just do my own research because clearly, we've already wasted a lot of time. So what is the process now? We now have to go back through the insurance company to get it approved to go to another imaging center. You can't just take your script and go to another imaging center. It has to be approved by your insurance company. So, I had to first locate the imaging center that does this particular type of MRI screening. I then have to call the office manager back and tell her this particular imaging center does this particular type of testing. So at that point, she then needs to resubmit that information to the insurance company. When she does that, it's another month. So we've gone from August and now it can't get done for another month because the new imaging center says first it has to be approved by the insurance company. Then we can schedule. So once I finally get to the new imaging center, we make sure everything. I'm calling the insurance company and the imaging center every other day to make sure, hey, do you have the proper paperwork to make sure that when he's seen on this day, there are no problems. So I know everybody was sick of me at this point, but having the medical background information that I do have, I know that you just can't let things fall into other people's hands. It's going to get lost somewhere. You're one of hundreds of patients, and I got sick of being lost in the sauce. So we get to the imaging. He finally gets his MRI done. The MRI results came back. It was inconclusive. They really didn't know what was going on. So at this point, he goes in to see his urologist. They discuss the findings and the results. And to make a long story short, he was like, okay, it's inconclusive. I want to do a biopsy on you. I really don't think it's going to be anything, but we're going to do the biopsy on you just so we can say we followed all the steps that needed to be done to get your results to you. So, but I don't think it's going to be anything, but let's just do it. Now, this happens, my husband gets his biopsy right before Thanksgiving. So, got the biopsy done, went down there with my husband to get some things taken care of. So now we're having to wait another 2 weeks to meet with the urologist. Okay, December 4th rolls around. I homeschool my son, so we're upstairs homeschooling. Before my husband left, I was like, hey, you want me to go with you for the results? Just to me, he's like, no, I don't think it's going to be anything. Granted, I know my husband. He's not a worrier, but I know him very well. I could tell he was anticipating the results because you just want to know what, for the things you cannot see, what is going on inside of your body. It's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll call you when I leave and everything. So I'm back to doing homeschool my son. My husband goes to his appointment. My husband just gets to his appointment. They call him to the back. I get a call while he's in the office. And I can tell that he was shaken up over the phone. He let me know the doctor had just informed him that yes, he does have prostate cancer. And I'm like, okay. So I'm talking with the doctor on speakerphone in the office. You know, what are the next steps? What needs to be done? You know, he gives us his spiel in regards to prostate cancer. These are some options that can be looked into more as far as removing the prostate. You can do the radioactive seeds. You can do radiation. They have different types of treatments for prostate cancer. So when I hear the news from the doctor, I go through a plethora of feelings. I don't know what I'm feeling at the moment. I just know my first initial feeling was shocked and surprised. Like, what? He has prostate cancer? Really? Because we know people who have prostate cancer. Well, like I have my grandfather passed away from prostate cancer in 2001. So when I hear it, I'm thinking, I begin to freak out internally. We know cancer exists, but we never think it's going to hit our home. We're not exempt from anything, but that's just how us as people, we tend to look at things sometimes. Like, oh no, that's, it happens, but, let's do all the things we need to do to make sure it never happens to us. So I'm going through shock, surprised, because I wasn't expecting that. And then I go into my next emotion, which was worry. Like I told you before, being a nurse, I am that fix it person. Fix it. Whatever you need to do to fix it, just fix it. Okay? I've had surgeries before where the doctor told me something was wrong. I'm like, take it out, fix it. That's just me. I don't want to sit and wait on all this stuff. And I didn't have time for all of that. I just wanted to make sure that my husband was okay, that he comes through this successfully, that we never have to worry about it again. So after processing just a plethora of emotions, I go to him one day and I'm like, honey, you know what? Let's just have the prostate removed. Right now it's still localized. Just take the whole prostate out. Just fix it. You don't have to worry about this anymore. And he's like, I don't know. That's kind of an aggressive step coming out the gate. So he is the kind of person, he likes to meet with every possible doctor there is. He spoke with several different people in regards to their issues, who had issues with prostate cancer or their prostate and things of that nature. So I'm a researcher by heart. I'm researching all the doctors, looking at the reviews, where are they located, if we had to travel, so what, who cares? I just wanted it fixed. I went from shocked, surprised, and worried. Now I go from, as I have all these other emotions over here, the shock, surprise, and worry, now the sadness come in. The sadness came in so hard, it was borderline depression. It was probably deep depression, but I internalized it, or I am internalizing it. I'm going to be honest, very, very well. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, and please, I just ask you to have a heart. Have a heart. Please don't mean comments. If I'm coming on here to, walk you all through the process, I want to be as real as authentic as I can. I want to speak from my heart without sugarcoating everything and making it, put it in a nice bow and making it look pretty. But I also went through very, very, very deep sadness, depression, more like, because of now we're hitting into fertility issues. This is something that we've been dealing with now. My son is 10 years old. We've been dealing with this now for 10 years. I have always had a deep desire to have another child, a very, very deep desire. And it's not a desire that comes from just me. long before I met my husband, I knew God had sent a dream to me, and he's constantly reminding me. He's showing me the image that he's been showing me for decades. Okay? Decades. The same thing keeps popping into my brain, as strong as it was the first time I saw it, that you are going to have more than one child. I don't want to get into the meat of all of that. I just know what God showed me, and I'm standing and believing him for that till this day. I know what he spoke over me and my children and my womb. I'm leaving it at that. So now I'm going through, oh my goodness. Not only does he have prostate cancer, I'm trying to help him emotionally. I'm trying to help myself emotionally. What do I do? Like, when he starts going through this process of treating his prostate, it's going to affect fertility issues, because it affects your sperm count. It affects healthy sperm cells. So what a lot of doctors and research have basically said was, if you have prostate, anything going on, especially prostate cancer, and you are someone, or you're a couple trying to conceive, you need to store your sperm. You need to do this, because if you do not do that and you start treatment, it's going to be impossible for you to conceive. That's just medical research. So now I'm processing these feelings of, one thing I will never do is I will never, ever question God. I don't do it. I've done it before. I don't like how I felt when I did it, and I don't like how I made him feel. I just did it. But I did have a very deep sense of, really, God? Like, we have all this other stuff going on here. Another thing that is on our plate now is fertility issues. And that was something that was very big for me. Because, like I told you before, I know what God promised me. No one else, he may have not given that vision to anybody else, but I know what he's given to me, and I'm riding with that because I trust God, period. So now I'm in these emotions of, oh my God, here we go. Now what? Now what? So I go from shock, surprise, worried, sad, depressed to just kind of angry. I became not angry at God, just angry at the fact of, it's something else I need to deal with. As if I don't already have a lot on my plate. And not just with my husband's prostate issues. It's just, as a woman, we deal with a lot of different things, and we internalize a lot of different things. And I know me, it's not the healthiest thing to do, but I internalize a lot. It's like this big bubbling ball of lava at the bottom of a volcano that's ready to come up, but I just suppress everything. It just kind of stays right there before it comes over. So I'm now dealing with the shock, surprise, worried, sad, depressed, angry. I still got all of this going on. Now I have the numbness, and I have being a recluse. Okay? Because I'm still walking my husband through the process. I'm walking my husband, trying to make it as easy for him as possible by doing the things that I need to do so he doesn't have to worry about that. You have enough to worry about. You're worried about working full time still. You're worried about your heart issue. You're worried about prostate cancer. So I'm trying to make this easy. So I'm not expressing my feelings to him. It's here. Everything is here. So I have all these emotions over here. Now I have the numbness, and I'm becoming a recluse. What does that mean for Aleisha? Naturally, I am a introvert. I've always been that way. I've become an extrovert with people who I'm extremely comfortable with. But otherwise, I'm not the mix and mingle kind of person. I don't like short conversation. I just don't like any of that. I speak to my family, my immediate family, which is like sibling, mother, father, daily. Especially my sibling and my mother. daily. When I say daily, I mean like 2-3 times a day daily. It's come to the point now where on some days I may speak with them once a day, if that. And it's not intentional. It's far from intentional. It is more of I'm processing a lot over here. A lot. It's heavy. This side is very, very heavy. Oh gosh, it's heavy, you guys. And I'm trying not to get emotional, so if I pause, just please bear with me. Because I don't want to project my feelings of the sadness and the worry onto them. So I chose to retreat, if that makes sense. I don't want to project the sadness and the worry and the depression this way. So I go this way. So I don't want someone to be like, oh, you sound so sad, or are you okay, or what's wrong with you? Not to say that they're like those kind of people. I just don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be that. Like I said, I don't even talk to my husband about a lot of my feelings that I'm currently feeling because I don't want him to have to bear that weight. I'll rather just bear it myself and just talk to God about it than have him bear this while dealing with his other things. So now I have the shock, the worry, the sadness, the depression, the numbness, being a recluse. I go from that to being in the anger. Now I'm upset. Now I'm pissed. Because what are we going through now? I'm bringing you current day. We're having to fight with the insurance company in regards to his treatment for his prostate cancer. My husband's prostate cancer. So yes, now I'm pissed. The original doctors that we wanted to go with was on another side of our state. You know, we were all willing to relocate for, I think it was 6 weeks at that time, because my husband wanted to proceed with the proton therapy for his prostate. He's spoken with many individuals who have done the prostate proton therapy. He felt comfortable with it. He wasn't ready to just remove the whole prostate. You know, that's just me talking. He's just, no, that's very aggressive. That's very aggressive. I don't want to do that. You know, I'll keep that in mind, but I don't want to come out the gate with that. So this one company spoke with the doctor. We both love the doctor. He's very, very knowledgeable. He has almost 40 years experience doing what he does. He's very knowledgeable. He's very personable. He made you feel comfortable. We're like, yes, this is where we're going. They submitted all the paperwork to the insurance company, and the insurance company denied it, the proton therapy. And we're like, what the heck? You know, my husband decided not to do the seed radio, where they place the seeds inside of your prostate and they become radioactive to help fix the issue. Because we were like, no, we don't want to do that. You know, that's you're like radioactive. We're like, not this, knock against people who have done it. I've known someone who's done that. But like, we have a 10-year-old son. You know, our son likes to sit on our lap. You know what I'm saying? Because he's very much still a kid. You know, push my kid off my lap. No. I'm like our whole interaction will be different. You got to use different bathrooms and sleep in different parts of the house, and you can't eat from the same utensils. It's like, that's just too much. No, scratch the seeds. So he was like, let's just do proton therapy. I'm like, great. You know, doing tons of research in regards to places to stay, got information in places to stay in this part of the state, because we were very unfamiliar. We were like, we don't know nothing about this city, but we're gonna go. Insurance company says no. Costs too much, basically. You can do this. It has the same results, but we're not paying for that. We're like, what? But we're paying you. so he can get the treatment he needs. Thank you, insurance company. So they recommended what's called the IMRT, which was also another recommendation from the doctor that we really, really liked. He said, if you don't do proton therapy, I do recommend the IMRT, which is intensity modulated radiotherapy, which is very, very similar to proton therapy. It's just less expensive. And you do have more side effects with that, as opposed to when you're doing proton therapy. Okay, so we're like, okay, now we're feeling like we're having to start over in regards to doctors. What facility does it in our state? It feels like you're going down one road and it gets discombobulated because the insurance company don't want to pay for anything. And it's very, very frustrating. I've dealt with insurance companies all my life, especially being in the healthcare field, and I know it's very, very frustrating. I've sat in that seat as a supervisor once for kids who had special healthcare needs, and they would, get denied for a lot of different services because the insurance companies didn't want to pay for it. I'm on the receiving end dealing with very, very angry parents. I get it. I'm a mother now, so I totally get it. Like, we're paying our money to receive this service and the insurance companies say no, so we have to go back and appeal it 100 different times and it still gets denied. The parents I get it. I'm sitting in that seat now. It's like, what the heck? If we're paying you this money, good money on top of that to get services, what's the problem? What really is the problem? So now what we're going through now is we're still in consultation. We just found new doctors to consult with in regards to this new type of treatment my husband is now looking into, which is the IMRT, the intensity modulated radiotherapy. Proton therapy is now off the radar for us due to our wonderful insurance company. So now we're on this side of the tracks, okay? So that basically means starting from scratch. You gotta research all the doctors, research the facility, research the side effects, meet with the doctors whenever you can get in with them. We've met with a few of them. We have a couple more in the next coming weeks. So hopefully once we meet with these last few doctors, we'll get our brains wrapped around next steps, what needs to happen next. So I wanted to just give you some ways you can help your spouse during this time. I know, like I said before, I'm dealing with a whole bucket of things here. I get it, because when you become married, I'm gonna go over to a whole different spiel here. When you are married, okay, under God, you are one. You go from two people to one person. You are one person. So I'm doing my best on my end to help him, to take the load off of him in regards to, you don't worry about this. Let me take care of this. Because I want to make sure that we are on one accord. Always. We're a unified front. We're going to get through this together. This is just not your issue. It's our issue. You're never fighting anything by yourself, ever. Especially when you're a married couple. It's like you are under the eyes of God. You are now one person. So I am him and he is me. Even though we're still our own individual people, we're still under the eyes of God. We're a unified front. We're one person. So here are some things I help my husband with on a daily basis. The first thing I do is I try to be that encourager for him. Whatever that means for you and your spouse or you and your significant other, before anything, I have to be an encourager. So what does that mean for us? That means I send him inspirational songs to help him, to start his day or to get him through his day. sometimes throughout the day, or I'll send him encouraging links, or I will send him just something funny throughout the day. Because me personally, I love to laugh. Laughter gets me through a lot. So I try to send him things just to kind of keep his mind off of it. When he works from home, so in the mornings when he walks into his office, and I've been doing this for many, many years now, even when he went to work in the facility, I will put in his lunchbox little love notes. So I'll leave like a little love note on his desk in the morning. I will go out to the store. I will buy him balloons that say, I love you, or I'll make him his special meal. Just make him feel better. I try to do those type of things. Another way I try to help him is I try to take the load off of him by doing things on the back end. Only thing you have to do is show up. You don't have to do the research on the doctors, the facility, deal with the insurance companies, fighting with the specialists. It's to the point now when I call his urologist office, they know when we call in, we go straight to the office manager. And we don't ask for her anymore. They just know what where we're at as far as, come on, like really? Because we've also had to deal with them not getting proper paperwork in because other things were thrown off during this whole process. So we deal directly with the office manager now. He doesn't have to do that. Let me deal with that. They don't have to like me, but you're going to do your job today, sir, ma'am, when you're dealing with me. And I'm very nice about it, but you're going to do your job, period. Or I'm going to go to the office and stand there until you get the paperwork in my hand so I can know that you did your job today with this family. So I'm the one who's doing the research for him, finding the doctors, setting up the appointments. That's a big one. When we do find the doctors, I set up the appointments for my husband. I do all the paperwork for my husband. It's very intensive. I gathered all the medical records from the primary care doctor, from the specialist, from his MRIs, from the biopsy, gathering all that information, getting the images from the hospital that he had his imaging finally done at. I'm doing all of that so you don't have to deal with it. You just show up to the appointments. Your appointment's on this day at this time with this doctor. This is a good doctor. Here are his reviews. Let's go from there. I also attend his appointments with him. Now, there's only one appointment that he's gone to that I was not able to attend because it was in office. But our other appointments have all been virtual. And the reason we have chosen to go that route is because we have a 10-year-old son. We don't want to have to drag him around to appointments. He can't, even if he goes to the appointments with us, he can't go to the room. And, I don't want him processing that much information at one time. He knows that daddy's not feeling well. He knows that daddy's going to a lot of appointments. And I'm going to do a separate video on how to help your kids understand illness or sickness when it comes to a family member or just in general. So we chose to do it virtually so we can go into the office, meet with the doctors online, or my son is off doing something else. It just works for us. And if we decide to go on the road with this particular doctor, then we'll do the necessary steps to meet with those doctors face to face. What else? Staying organized. I keep all his paperwork organized for him. I'm an organizer by heart. So that's just something that works for us. I take care of all the paperwork in the house. Every stitch of paperwork that comes into this house, I choose personally to deal with that to make it easier for him. So that's been our journey so far. We will be doing another video. My husband will be coming back doing another video in regards to his journey and what he's had to deal with as far as his perspective on his prostate cancer. But I did want to come in for you guys to let you know how I was dealing with it from my end. Because I want to be real. I want to be authentic. I don't want to come off as this pretty packaged with this bow. Because that's not how life works. Life is going to throw some curveballs at us. And we have to know how to deal with those things. Not just deal with them, but deal with them effectively. Because if you can't deal with something effectively, you're going around the same circle. And who wants to do that? I don't. I'm the kind of person like to, if something's going on, deal with it head on. Let's move on, because life is going to throw us another curveball. And that's where, I guess, where I'm stuck at as far as the sadness and being like borderline depressed. When it comes to the fertility issues, we've let this thing linger for so long. Now we got to factor this in to the prostate stuff. It's a lot. And if I did not share that piece of information with you guys, I would have not been authentic. It would have not come straight from my heart. It would have come off like, my husband has prostate cancer and this is how we're dealing with it. And I am not that kind of person. I don't want to ever be that kind of person. I want to come real. So, because we're real people. And I want you, if you are dealing with this or know someone who is dealing with this, how to navigate through these things. But like I said before, my husband will be coming back in with his own video discussing his prostate cancer, his journey from his eyes and his perspective. So keep and watch out for that video. In the meantime, guys, thank you for joining us on today's episode. Please come back. I have so much more to share. And please stick around. And thank you for joining us today. And you have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye, you guys.